We spend so much of our time thinking about the future, imagining the possibilities, the uncertainties, the what ifs. We try to control things that are beyond our reach. And in doing so, we lose sight of the one thing we actually have control over, the present moment. The future, it's not something we can hold in our hands or predict with absolute certainty. We want to plan, we want to prepare, but sometimes we go so far into worrying about what might happen that we forget to live fully in what is happening right now. It's easy to get overwhelmed, to think that the weight of everything we don't yet know will crush us. But here's the truth. We can only handle the future if we're present with our lives today. We cannot anticipate every curve, every obstacle, every joy. Life is unpredictable. And in that unpredictability, there's beauty. When we stop trying to control every aspect of what's to come, we allow ourselves to be open to the experiences that will shape us. And sometimes that's exactly what we need. So let go. Let go of the fear of what's ahead. Allow yourself to be okay with uncertainty. Because when we trust that things will unfold in their own time, we give ourselves the freedom to live fully in the now. That's where the magic happens. In a world where we're constantly bombarded with distractions, where our minds are racing from one thought to the next, it's easy to forget the true power of being present. We live in a society that values productivity, results, and future goals. We're taught to always be planning, always thinking ahead, always striving for what comes next. And while planning for the future is important, there's an even more crucial aspect of life that many of us overlook: the present moment. The present is where everything happens. It's where you experience the full depth of life, the joy, the pain, the triumph, and the struggle. Yet so many of us are caught up in chasing after things that are not here yet. Our minds wander to a future that has not yet arrived, and in doing so, we miss out on the richness of what's unfolding in front of us. When we're not present, we're often somewhere else, physically in one place, but mentally and emotionally in another. We're thinking about what happened yesterday, stressing over what might happen tomorrow, or replaying old conversations and scenarios over and over again. We get so tangled in our thoughts about the past or the future that we fail to acknowledge the simple beauty of now. And this disconnection from the present robs us of our power. Presence is power because it allows you to truly experience life. When you are fully present, you become deeply connected to the moment you are in. The conversation you're having, the feeling you're experiencing, the space you're occupying. You see and feel everything around you with greater clarity. You stop operating on autopilot, moving through life like a machine. Instead, you become aware of your surroundings, the people around you, and the impact your actions and words are having on the world. When you're present, you are in control of how you respond to what is happening. You don't react out of fear, stress, or anxiety. Instead, you respond with intention, grounded in the awareness of the here and now. You choose your actions, your words, your decisions from a place of mindfulness. And this kind of power is transformative. It allows you to handle challenges with grace because you're not worried about what will happen next. You are simply dealing with what is in front of you, knowing that everything else will unfold as it should. Moreover, presence is not just about being physically there. It's about being emotionally and mentally engaged. It means truly listening to the person speaking to you, not thinking about your response before they even finish their sentence. It means focusing on the task at hand, whether it's work, a creative endeavor, or even just a simple act like cooking or walking. It's about engaging with life as it happens instead of living in a constant state of anticipation or regret. Being present also allows you to let go of the need to control everything. We often worry about the future because we're afraid of losing control. But when we focus on the present, we realize that there's only so much we can control. The future is full of uncertainty, and trying to predict or control it only leads to anxiety. But in the present moment, we can find peace in knowing that we are doing the best we can with what we have. We take life as it comes, one moment at a time, without worrying about the next. When we embrace presence, we also begin to recognize the fleeting nature of time. We understand that this moment is precious and that we will never get it back. This awareness can shift our perspective, making us more appreciative of the small things, the laughter shared with a friend, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the taste of a meal. These are the moments that make life worth living, and when we are present, we savor them. In the end, presence is not just about living in the moment. It's about empowering yourself to truly engage with your life. It's about choosing to be here, now, in this space, fully aware and fully alive. It is a radical act of self-love to give yourself permission to be present, to stop rushing through life, to stop worrying about what comes next, and to embrace the richness of the now. The more we practice being present, the more power we reclaim. We stop living in a state of constant overwhelm, and instead we start to live with intention, clarity, and purpose. Present is power because it's the gateway to experiencing life fully, without distractions, without fear, and without missing out on the moments that truly matter in the future. It's one of the most powerful forces in our lives. It's something that pulls at us, beckons us forward, and often creates a sense of urgency. We live in a culture that's obsessed with forecasting what's coming next, with preparing for the unknown, and with attempting to control every aspect of our journey. We've been taught to plan, to dream, to strategize, but no matter how much we try to predict or prepare, the future remains something that is ultimately uncertain. And this uncertainty, while unsettling, is also one of the most liberating truths about life. We cannot know what lies ahead, no matter how much we try to anticipate it. In fact, the more we try to control it, the more we realize that control is often an illusion. The future is not something we can fully grasp, and that can be both terrifying and freeing. We spend an immense amount of time trying to predict what will happen tomorrow, next month, or next year. We stress about the decisions we make today because we fear their long-term consequences. We try to map out our careers, our relationships, our financial future, and every other aspect of our lives. We want to feel like we have a grip on our destiny, like we are charting a path that leads to success, happiness, and fulfillment. That no matter how many spreadsheets we create, how many scenarios we run in our heads, the truth is that the future does not unfold the way we imagine it will. It's unpredictable. It's shaped by forces we cannot control, by random events, by choices we've yet to make, and by people we haven't even met yet. Every decision we make today sends ripples through the future that we cannot fully foresee. The most profound truth about the future is that it's full of unknowns. No matter how much we plan, no matter how many books we read or experts we consult, there's no way to predict exactly what's going to happen. You might make all the right choices today, and still life can take an unexpected turn tomorrow. Or you might make mistakes, but in those mistakes there could be opportunities for growth and transformation that you never saw coming. This is where the uncertainty of the future becomes both a challenge and a gift. We cannot control what's coming next, but we have the power to choose how we respond to whatever it may be. This is where our true power lies. not in the ability to predict or control, but in the ability to adapt, to stay resilient, and to remain open to whatever possibilities the future may bring. It's in our willingness to embrace the unknown, to let go of our need for certainty, and to trust that we will find a way through whatever comes. The desire to control the future often leads us to live in a state of perpetual anxiety. We fear the worst, we worry about every possible outcome, and we hold ourselves back from fully engaging in life. We stop taking risks, we stop exploring new opportunities, and we start to play it safe because we're scared of what could happen if things don't go according to plan. This constant need for reassurance and certainty holds us back from fully living. But when we acknowledge that the future is uncertain, something incredible happens. We free ourselves from the weight of expectation. We allow ourselves to live more fully, to take chances, to make mistakes, and to grow. We realize that the future in all its unpredictability is a space where possibilities abound. It's a space where we can create, change, and evolve, and we are not defined by the things we fear might happen. Instead, we become defined by how we move through the uncertainty, how we embrace it, and how we learn to trust ourselves along the way. Living with the awareness that the future is uncertain allows us to approach life with more grace and humility. It means we stop pretending that we have all the answers or that we can control every outcome. Instead, we learn to be present with what we can influence: our choices, our mindset, our attitude, and we trust that in time, the answers will reveal themselves. We stop fighting the unknown and start flowing with it. In this way, the future is not something to fear, but something to embrace, because it is in the uncertainty that growth happens. When we allow ourselves to step into the unknown, we give ourselves permission to evolve into the people we are meant to become. The future is not a destination, it's a journey. And the beauty of that journey is that it is constantly unfolding, revealing itself in ways we could never have predicted. So while the future may always remain uncertain, we can find peace in knowing that it is full of possibility. We don't need to know exactly what's coming next to live a full and meaningful life. We simply need to show up, be present, and trust that we will navigate the twists and turns along the way. The future will unfold as it's meant to, and we will be ready for it, not because we predicted it, but because we're strong enough to face whatever it brings. In life, there is a constant tension between the things we want to control and the things that are beyond our reach. We often find ourselves stressing over situations, outcomes, and people that we have no power over. And in doing so, we create unnecessary stress and anxiety. We waste energy on things that are outside our control, leaving us feeling powerless and overwhelmed. But the truth is, there are only a few things in life that we truly have control over, and the key to finding peace lies in focusing on those things. We live in a world that tells us we should have control over everything, control over our careers, our relationships, our finances, and even our personal image. We're told that we should be able to plan every step, anticipate every obstacle, and dictate every outcome. But this type of thinking often leads to frustration, because the reality is there will always be variables, surprises, and unknowns that disrupt our carefully laid plans. The first thing we need to accept is that we cannot control other people. No matter how much we might want to change someone's behavior or influence their decisions, we cannot force someone to think, feel, or act the way we want them to. This is a hard truth to swallow because we often invest so much of ourselves into our relationships and interactions with others. We want people to understand us, agree with us, or behave in a way that aligns with our values. But when we try to control others, we lose our own sense of peace and we risk damaging the connection we have with them. Instead of focusing on trying to control others, we must shift our attention to what we can control, ourselves. We control our thoughts, our reactions, and our actions, how we choose to respond to situations, how we manage our emotions, and how we move through life. These are the things that we have the power to influence. Our ability to choose how we react to external circumstances is where our true power lies. Life may not always go the way we want, but we can control how we show up for it. It's easy to feel like we are at the mercy of external forces. Our job, our family, the economy, and society at large often seem like uncontrollable forces that dictate the course of our lives. But the truth is, we have far more agency than we realize. Even in the face of adversity, we have the ability to control how we respond. If we lose a job, we can choose to see it as an opportunity for growth, to reinvent ourselves, or to explore new possibilities. If a relationship falls apart, we can choose to learn from it, heal, and emerge stronger. We cannot control the external circumstances, but we can control how we move forward. Our mindset plays a pivotal role in this. We can choose to focus on the things we can change rather than getting stuck in what we cannot control. This doesn't mean we ignore or deny the challenges that come our way. It means that we take ownership of how we face them. When we focus on what we can control, our mindset, our attitude, and our actions, we regain a sense of empowerment. One of the most important things we can control is our own self-care. We have the power to prioritize our well-being, mentally, emotionally, and physically. We control the choices we make regarding our health, our boundaries, and the way we manage our time and energy. If we feel overwhelmed, we can choose to take a step back and rest. If we feel disconnected, we can decide to engage in activities or practices that nourish us. No matter what's happening in the world around us, we have the ability to create space for ourselves and protect our peace. Another area where we have control is in how we communicate. We control how we express ourselves and how we engage with others. Whether it's in our personal relationships or in our professional lives, our ability to communicate with clarity, respect, and intention has a profound impact on our experiences. When we communicate with purpose and authenticity, we shape the way others perceive us and how we navigate our interactions. Even when we're faced with conflict or misunderstanding, we have the ability to remain calm, composed, and centered. How we choose to speak and when to listen is entirely within our control. We also have control over how we manage our time. Time is one of our most valuable resources, and it's easy to fall into the trap of letting it slip away. We can choose to prioritize the things that matter most to us, whether that's spending time with loved ones, pursuing personal passions, or dedicating time to our personal growth. The way we allocate our time can make all the difference in how fulfilled we feel. We may not always be able to control what happens in our day, but we can control how we spend the moments we are given. Financial stability is another area where we can exercise control. While external factors can certainly influence our financial situation, we have the power to make decisions that impact our financial future. We control how we spend, how we save, and how we invest our money. By making intentional choices around our finances, we empower ourselves to build the future we want, rather than leaving our financial fate to chance. We also have control over our goals and aspirations. The direction our life takes is often determined by the decisions we make today. While we can't control the entire journey, we can set the course. We have the ability to set clear intentions, work towards our dreams, and take actionable steps every day. Whether we achieve every goal or not, the power is in the pursuit, in the discipline, the consistency, and the resilience to keep moving forward despite setbacks. At the core of it all, what we can control is our response to the world around us. Life is unpredictable, and we will face challenges that are beyond our ability to control. But the more we focus on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, and our choices, the more we reclaim our sense of agency and purpose. Control is not about trying to manipulate the world around us, but about harnessing the power we already have within ourselves. By focusing on what is within our control, we can face the future with greater confidence, resilience, and peace of mind. Fear of the future is a powerful force. It creeps in when we least expect it, shaping our thoughts and actions, often without us even realizing it. We can experience it as a subtle sense of unease about what lies ahead, or as an overwhelming, paralyzing dread that stops us in our tracks. This fear, though common, is one of the biggest barriers we face when it comes to personal growth. It holds us back from embracing the opportunities that life presents, and it restricts our ability to become the people we are capable of being. The future is uncertain, and that is exactly why fear thrives in that space. The unknown is unsettling because it challenges our sense of control and stability. We tend to fear what we cannot predict, what we cannot prepare for, and what we have no way of fully understanding. Yet it's this very uncertainty that opens the door to growth and transformation. The paradox is clear. The future is both terrifying and brimming with possibility, and it's our fear of it that limits our capacity to explore that possibility. When we are afraid of the future, we begin to shrink back. We stop taking risks. We hesitate to make decisions, and we become paralyzed by the sheer volume of unknowns. This fear can take many forms. It might manifest as fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, fear of rejection, or even fear of success. We think that by staying within the confines of what we already know, we are somehow keeping ourselves safe. But in reality, we are locking ourselves in a cage of complacency, cutting off the very growth we seek. We fear the future because it asks us to step out of our comfort zones. Growth requires discomfort. It requires us to take chances, to stumble, to fail, and to try again. But when fear is allowed to dictate our actions, it forces us to stay small. We hesitate to take that first step toward change because we don't know where it will lead. The future, in all its unpredictability, demands that we trust the process, trust ourselves, and trust that we have the strength to handle whatever comes our way. But when we allow fear to control us, we don't take that step, and we miss out on the opportunities that might have propelled us to the next level. The fear of the future can also make us focus too much on potential negative outcomes. We begin to imagine worst-case scenarios, to play out every single detail in our minds of how things might go wrong. We start to see every obstacle as a sign that we should turn back, that we should avoid the risk, that we should stay in the safety of the known. This type of thinking creates a cycle of anxiety and inaction. We get stuck in the what-ifs, unable to break free from the prison of our own mind. Fear makes us believe that the future is a series of dangers to be avoided, when in reality, it's a landscape of opportunities waiting to be discovered. It's not just the big life-altering decisions that fear affects, it's in the small choices too, the everyday decisions that, when added together, shape the direction of our lives. Fear of the future can prevent us from taking that job we're passionate about because we worry it won't work out. It can stop us from starting a new relationship because we fear being hurt. It can keep us from learning a new skill or pursuing a dream because we are overwhelmed by the possibility of failure. We become so fixated on what might go wrong that we forget to see what might go right. Fear narrows our vision and blocks our ability to see the vast range of possibilities that exist, limiting our ability to grow and evolve. Moreover, fear of the future often leads us to cling to things that no longer serve us. When we are afraid of what might come next, we hold on tightly to the comfort of what we know, even if it's no longer aligned with who we are becoming. We stay in unhealthy relationships, unfulfilling jobs, or stagnant routines because the idea of change feels too daunting. But when we resist change out of fear, we prevent ourselves from growing into the person we are meant to be. Change is the very thing that propels us forward. And while it may be uncomfortable, it is the key to unlocking our full potential. The irony is that fear of the future is often worse than the actual experience of it. When we finally face what we've been dreading, we often realize that it wasn't nearly as bad as we had imagined. The future doesn't always turn out the way we expect, but it always teaches us something valuable. Each challenge, each setback, each disappointment is an opportunity to grow, learn, and become more resilient. It's in the process of navigating the unknown that we discover the depth of our strength and our capacity to adapt. One of the most significant ways fear limits growth is by keeping us from taking action. Growth requires movement, it requires courage, and it requires the willingness to step into the unknown. Fear convinces us that we should wait until we have everything figured out, until we know the exact path to take, until we feel certain. But the truth is, certainty is often the enemy of growth. The most transformative moments in life are rarely the ones that come with a clear roadmap. They are the moments when we step into uncertainty, unsure of what will happen next, but trusting that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way. The future will always be uncertain, and that uncertainty is what makes life so rich and full of possibility. When we let go of our fear of the future, we free ourselves to fully embrace the present moment and the endless opportunities it holds. We stop waiting for the right time to begin, and instead we take action now. We stop worrying about what might happen and start focusing on what we can do today to create the future we want. Living in fear of the future doesn't just limit our growth, it keeps us stuck in the past. We are so focused on what could go wrong that we forget to focus on what we can do to create a better tomorrow. By letting fear rule our lives, we stop ourselves from being bold, from being courageous, and from seizing the opportunities that are in front of us. Growth happens when we embrace the uncertainty of the future, face our fears head on, and move forward anyway. When we stop letting fear control us, we open ourselves up to a world of growth, possibility, and endless potential. Trusting the journey of life can be one of the most difficult yet powerful things we can do. It requires us to relinquish control, to surrender our expectations, and to embrace the unknown with faith that we are exactly where we need to be. We live in a world that constantly pushes us toward outcomes, instant gratification, and tangible results. We are conditioned to expect immediate answers, immediate solutions, and to know exactly what's coming next. But the journey of life does not always unfold in a neat, linear way. Instead, it is full of twists and turns, highs and lows, and unexpected detours. And within this uncertainty lies the deep, transformative power of trusting the process. We often have a fixed idea of how our lives are supposed to unfold. We create a timeline in our minds, a blueprint of milestones we need to achieve, and we expect everything to fall into place at the right time. But the reality is that life doesn't always work according to our plan. Sometimes the road ahead is unclear, and sometimes it feels as if we are wandering in the dark, unsure of where we're going or what we're supposed to do. This uncertainty can be terrifying, especially when we feel like we're not making the progress we expect or when things don't unfold the way we envision. But the truth is, it's in these moments of doubt and confusion that the greatest growth happens. Trusting the journey means accepting that we cannot control every outcome, nor can we always predict the future. We may not know how things will work out, and that's okay. The act of trusting is not about having all the answers or knowing the end result. It's about having faith in the process and believing that every experience, every challenge, every moment of discomfort is leading us to where we need to be. It's about being willing to take the next step, even when we don't know exactly where it will lead. It's about trusting that life will unfold as it's meant to, even when it doesn't look the way we thought it would. In moments of uncertainty, we often start to question ourselves. We wonder if we're on the right path, if we've made the wrong decisions, if we've somehow veered off course. But the truth is, we are never off course. Every experience, every challenge, every setback is part of our journey. Even when it doesn't make sense at the time, trusting the journey requires us to trust that the universe has a way of guiding us exactly where we need to be, even if it doesn't happen according to our timeline. There are moments when life seems to push us in a direction that feels completely wrong. We might face failure, disappointment, or rejection, and it feels like we've been sent down the wrong path. We might feel stuck, like we've reached a dead end. But what if these moments are not signs of failure, but invitations to grow, to shift, and to transform? Often, what we perceive as obstacles are actually stepping stones to something better. Trusting the journey means accepting these challenges as part of our evolution rather than seeing them as roadblocks. One of the most difficult aspects of trusting the journey is learning to be patient. We are often impatient with our progress, especially in an age of instant gratification where everything is expected to happen fast. But growth doesn't happen overnight. Real transformation takes time. It's in the slow, steady, consistent efforts that we build the foundation for lasting change. Trusting the journey means being willing to put in the work even when we can't see immediate results. It means continuing to move forward even when the path is unclear and knowing that every small step brings us closer to where we are meant to be. The fear of uncertainty often stops us from fully embracing the journey. We want control. We want assurance that everything will work out in the end. But the beauty of life lies in its unpredictability. When we let go of the need to control every aspect of our journey, we open ourselves up to the possibility of something greater than we could have ever imagined. Trusting the journey is about surrendering our need to have it all figured out. It's about allowing life to unfold, knowing that we will be okay no matter where it takes us. The more we resist the flow of life, the more we struggle. But when we let go, when we trust the process, we find that life has a way of bringing us what we need at exactly the right time. Sometimes trusting the journey means letting go of our expectations. We can become attached to specific outcomes, convinced that we know exactly what's best for us. But life has a way of surprising us. When we let go of rigid expectations, we make room for the unexpected joys and gifts that come along the way. The relationships we never saw coming, the opportunities that appear out of nowhere, the experiences that shape us in ways we never imagined, these are the things that can only happen when we trust the journey. When we stop trying to control every aspect of our lives. Trusting the journey also means trusting ourselves. We often doubt our own strength and resilience. We wonder if we're capable of handling what's ahead, or if we'll ever be able to navigate the challenges that come our way. But the truth is, we are much stronger than we realize. We've been through hard times before, and we've come out the other side. Every challenge we've faced has helped to shape us into the person we are today. Trusting the journey means trusting that we have everything we need within us to face whatever comes next. We are not alone in this process. We have the inner wisdom, the courage, and the strength to navigate the journey with grace and resilience. Sometimes it's easy to become discouraged when things don't seem to be moving forward. We wonder if we're stuck, if we've missed our opportunity, if it's too late to achieve our dreams. But the truth is, it's never too late to trust the journey. Every moment is an opportunity to start again, to take a new direction, to try something different. Trusting the journey means letting go of the belief that there's a perfect timeline or a right moment. The journey is not linear, and it doesn't have to follow a prescribed path. It's messy, unpredictable, and sometimes uncomfortable, but it's in that messiness that we find the real magic of life. Ultimately, trusting the journey is about surrendering to the flow of life. It's about accepting that we don't have to have it all figured out. We don't need to know exactly where we're going or how we'll get there. What we need is the courage to step forward with faith. Faith in ourselves, faith in the process, and faith that every experience is contributing to our growth. The journey may not always look the way we thought it would, but if we trust in it, we will find that it unfolds in ways we never could have imagined. Letting go is one of the most difficult and paradoxically one of the most liberating things we can do. We are often taught to hold on to our dreams, our relationships, our possessions, and our sense of control. We hold on tightly because we fear what might happen if we let go. Letting go can feel like surrendering, like losing something important or valuable, but in truth, it's the very act of letting go that opens the door to peace and freedom. The process of releasing what no longer serves us, whether it be physical objects, outdated beliefs, or toxic relationships, creates space for growth, healing, and clarity. Letting go doesn't come easily. We become attached to things, people, and situations because they offer us a sense of security. They provide us with comfort, even if it's an illusion. We cling to the familiar because it's easier to hold on to what we know than to face the uncertainty that comes with change. But the problem is, holding on often keeps us stuck. We are bound by the very things that we believe are giving us security, when in reality, they are preventing us from moving forward. Peace doesn't come from holding on tightly. It comes from learning to release the grip, to step back, and to trust the process. In many ways, letting go is an act of trust. It requires us to trust that we will be okay without whatever it is we are holding on to. We have to trust that by releasing the past, we will be open to something better, something more aligned with who we are becoming. We fear that letting go will leave us with a void, that we will be empty or lost. But in truth, the void is the space in which new things can enter. New opportunities, new people, and new experiences that are more aligned with our current selves. Letting go is not about losing something, but about making room for growth and transformation. Often we find it difficult to let go because we feel a sense of obligation. We may hold on to relationships out of a sense of duty, believing that we have to stay because of the time or energy invested. We may stay in jobs or situations that no longer serve us because we feel responsible for the impact on others. When we let go, we give both ourselves and others the opportunity to grow in new ways. Sometimes the greatest act of love we can show someone else is to step back, to let go, and to trust that they are capable of finding their own path. Another powerful aspect of letting go is releasing our need for perfection. We often hold on to perfectionism as a way of ensuring that things will be done correctly or that we will be accepted and loved. We tie our worth to how well we perform, how perfectly we execute our plans, and how others perceive us. But this attachment to perfection is exhausting, and it keeps us from experiencing the beauty of imperfection. Life is messy, unpredictable, and full of moments of imperfection. And it is in these very moments that the most profound growth and connection can occur. Letting go of the need to be perfect allows us to embrace our true selves with all our flaws and vulnerabilities and find peace in the fact that we are enough just as we are. The act of letting go can also be deeply emotional. We often find ourselves holding on to past hurts, resentments, and grudges, believing that by holding on, we are protecting ourselves or keeping others accountable for their actions. But in reality, holding on to negative emotions only harms us. We carry the weight of the past with us, allowing it to color our present and dictate our future. Letting go of hurt and anger doesn't mean we are excusing others' behavior. It means we are choosing to free ourselves from the chains of the past. Forgiveness is not about the other person, it's about our own peace and healing. By releasing the emotional baggage, we create space for joy, love, and acceptance to flow freely. Ultimately, letting go is about freedom. When we hold on to things, people, or beliefs that no longer serve us, we are essentially trapping ourselves. We are binding ourselves to the past, to expectations, and to limiting beliefs that prevent us from experiencing the fullness of life. Letting go of these attachments allows us to step into a space of freedom where we are no longer weighed down by the things we've been holding on to. We are free to be ourselves, to move forward, to grow, and to live in the present moment without the burden of the past holding us back. The peace we find in letting go is not about relinquishing everything. It's about choosing what we want to hold on to and releasing the rest. Letting go is a continuous process. It is not something that happens once and is done. It's a practice that we must revisit regularly as we navigate the various stages of our lives. Sometimes we need to let go of things we didn't even realize were holding us back. Other times we need to let go of things that once served us but no longer fit who we are becoming. As we grow and evolve, we must constantly assess what we are holding on to and what we need to release in order to make space for new possibilities.